today's top boxing news.
Okay, we'll start with this. Word around the campfire seems to be El Caballero del Boxeo posted MVP negotiations with Universal Promotions, Rock Stable. Erica Cruz's promoters are set to make Serrano versus Cruz 2 December 27th in Puerto Rico. Closing out the year with a bang, if I do say so myself, as Erica Cruz is a tough customer, and Amanda Serrano found that out the first time they met. She won. She definitely won, but it wasn't necessarily a walk in the park. It wasn't easy. Erica Cruz is one of the most prolific punchers anywhere at or around featherweight. She's a tough customer.
Yes.
She's a volume puncher.
Yes.
She's a pressure fighter, sporting a professional record of 18 wins with 2 losses and 1 draw, 4 knockouts, having never been knocked out in 21 professional bouts. After the Nazarena-Romero fight, we didn't hear much from Erica Cruz aside from she tested positive for a banned substance. Then she sort of fell off the radar, fell off the grid after that, and resurfaced in May of this year opposite the ring Cruz Gonzalez, who she stopped in 6 rounds. A full year after the Nazarena-Romero fight that was scored a draw. Still considered one of the more dangerous and difficult fights at or around featherweight. If Amanda wanted an easy one, she could have found somebody else. Closing out the year with Erica Cruz means she wants to close out the year with a bang. She wants to close it out with a firefight in her native island of Puerto Rico in front of all those Puerto Rican fans. You will recall that they tried this before with Nina Menka, but right before the fight, Amanda's eye got injured and she was unable to compete, so they're going to try it again before this year is out. At least, that is the rumor. Now, because Amanda Serrano has been so successful, I don't know how much longer she means to remain in the sport of boxing. I don't know if a Tiara Brown fight is a priority, a unification match with her, or a unification match with Nina Menka if and when she returns to the sport of boxing after she recovers from spinal surgery. I don't know that these 2 other champions at the weight are potential targets for Amanda because Amanda's already been undisputed at featherweight. She could do it 2 times if she wants to, but the point is, she really doesn't have to. She's made enough to retire on. When she retires, she's not just going to kick back in a rocking chair and watch the grass grow. She has an active role in the MVP women's stable, growing that stable, managing those fighters, and signing those fighters. She'll have plenty to do after she stops fighting. It really is just a question of when. Is this potential fight in December Amanda Serrano's swan song, ending her career on a high with a banger against an old adversary? That age-old rivalry in the sport of boxing, Puerto Rico versus Mexico, delivering a win over a Mexican fighter in front of all of those Puerto Rican fans. Is that what this is? It could be. It very well could be. Wouldn't be surprised because, like I said, Amanda has done very well for herself. She can retire whenever she wants. She doesn't have to keep fighting. So if she keeps fighting, it's just for the love of it, for the love of the sport, really. And I anticipate that if she does fight Erica for the second time, it's going to be a repeat of the first fight. Pressure fighters like Erica don't change much from one fight to the next or 1 year to the next. The second fight, in all likelihood, will be a repeat of the first one. And who won the first one? Amanda won the first one. I anticipate if there is a second, she'll win that one too. So we'll see if this rumor checks out. Elsewhere in the world of boxing, Bill Haney unleashes an epic rant in response to Eddie Hearn's claims. Ever the protective father, Bill didn't take kindly to what Eddie Hearn recently said, rejecting opinions from former promoter Eddie Hearn that Devin Haney has changed and is newly motivated by only purse money. Haney's father, manager, and trainer Bill Haney responded Monday by noting Hearn and his father Barry haven't had a distinguished champion like this since forming a snooker league 38 years ago. That's what you led with? Okay, well that's bullshit. We're working on our 3rd continent, on our 3rd world title, after already being undisputed champion, Bill Haney told Boxing Scene. That's something they haven't seen since snooker. What even is snooker? Never mind snooker. Does Dimitri Bivol ring a bell? The guy who beat Canelo Alvarez, the guy who beat current unified cruiserweight champion Zurdo Ramirez, the guy who became undisputed in his last fight. as is typical of the American fighter, overestimating their own importance and their own value. You think you're the only guys with the belt or some belts that Matchroom has promoted? We're about to dismantle Brian Gore-Tex in a historic performance, and then watch and see what we do after that, Bill Haney said. Devin is looking so good, we could take the fight next weekend and win. Welterweight is the perfect division for him, so he says. But what do you expect him to say? That he's scared? That he's nervous? Because Devin Haney certainly fought that way against the past-it Jose Ramirez, and now he's fighting a younger, fresher fighter at a higher weight with a bigger punch. I don't expect Bill to say that. In an interview last week, Hearn said that the Haneys have turned from caring about legacy and are now more obsessed with maximizing their earnings on the heels of the April 2024 3-knockdown loss to Ryan Garcia, the one that has since been overturned. Hearn opined, Haney has transformed into a villain after posting a cautious victory on May 2nd over former unified 140-pound champion Jose Ramirez in New York's Times Square. Devin's changed because Devin's fallen out of love with the sport of boxing because of what happened with Ryan and other bullshit as well, Hearn told the podcast The Divine Hook. When he started, all he wanted to do was chase greatness. I don't think he's like that anymore. I think now, a big part of Devin is just fighting for the money, and that's when it becomes dangerous because you're not the same fighter. There's a very good chance Devin Haney could lose that Norman fight. I don't think that's a hot take. You got beaten up by Ryan Garcia, you fought scared against Jose. It's not a hot take to say that you could lose the Brian Norman fight. Bill and Devin, they're not looking strategically, they're looking for the bag. They're like, where can we make our 5, 6, 7 million? That's why they said they'll fight Jaron Boots Ennis at 147. We'll fight Teofimo. They just want the money. Back in the day, Bill was a lot more selective and tactical about who they fought. Now, he just wants money. The Haneys are looking for money. Money instead of legacy. Bill Haney was defiant in answering the Hearn claim. But what you have to keep in mind is that since that Jose Ramirez fight, Devin has had not one, but 2 fights fall through. 2 big ones. In the Ryan Garcia rematch that isn't even a conversation anymore, and the Teofimo Lopez fight because Teofimo walked away. It's 2 big paydays that walked away. So that when you jump all over a Brian Norman fight, outwardly, it looks like you're just doing it for the bag, because that was the only way you'd get a big Saudi bag if you took on this risk, where maybe you need to take your foot off the gas. Bill Haney was defiant in answering the Hearn claim, saying, him questioning our motives and intent and sincerity in terms of money, this fight happens to be a great opportunity to do both, Bill Haney said, to be tied in with an event that the fans and the Saudi Arabian boxing financier Turki El Sheikh are asking for, to come up in weight and face the hardest-hitting guy in the welterweight division, a guy that possesses a left hook that some say is the kryptonite to Devin Haney, that we're going to Riyadh to face him? What a great opportunity Turkey is putting on the table. And here goes Eddie. Instead of taking an opportunity to celebrate something his fighters haven't been able to accomplish. Oh, because you never heard of Bam Rodriguez, right? He questions it. So I want to ask Eddie, is he questioning it because he hasn't been able to do it? Or is he questioning it because he can't believe it can be done? No, he's questioning it because of what he said, and you don't like that, but it's a valid question. Haney said it's a rare feat for a fighter to stand as a lightweight and welterweight champion. It's historic, and if he doesn't understand that, maybe Eddie Hearn should definitely go back to snooker, where you'd have a better advantage against the Haneys, Bill Haney said. In boxing, it's taken you 38 years. This guy's so full of shit. Anthony Joshua is a bigger draw than your son ever will be, and he's a 2-time unified champion. Dimitri Bivol, he became undisputed. Bam Rodriguez is a 2-division. He's a 2-weight world champion, unified at flyweight, and he's about to try to unify again at superfly. All 3 of these guys are promoted by Matchroom. I can keep going. It's not that Devin Haney isn't accomplished. It's not that he hasn't had a successful boxing career. It's that he's not the only one. He's not the only successful act that Matchroom has been associated with. In fact, they've already promoted bigger fighters and bigger names than Devin Haney. Devin is working on his 3rd division. He's already an undisputed champion at lightweight. He's going to his 3rd continent, making him a global superstar. Eddie hasn't done that. Oh, because you've never heard of Katie Taylor, the highest paid woman boxer. No, she's been undisputed at 2 weights by my count. And what about Anthony Joshua? who dwarfs your son in terms of marquee value. Bill Haney said he would have been fine maintaining a low profile during his training camp. I've been studying, he said, of what he expects will be a serious but tolerable test versus the younger Norman. The Haneys are working and focused until we heard from Eddie, the distraction Hearn, the money-blocking man himself. Chill out, bro, and let us run this new era of boxing. Well, you don't run anything, and that's the problem. You're the butt of a lot of jokes right now, and maybe you don't want to hear that, or maybe you don't want to accept it. If you want to disprove what Eddie Hearn said, don't cry to the media about it. Win the fight. That's how you prove him wrong. Don't talk all this fucking shit, and Devin goes in there and loses. Hearn has promoted several of Devin's fights, but he's not doing the November bout headlined by the light heavyweight title fight between WBC champion David Benavidez and Anthony Yarde. If it's not the Devin Haney era, then you tell us. Someone else who's doing this shit, Bill Haney said. If you think you're better, talk to Turkey LL Sheik and put them in the gauntlet, because Turkey is lining all of them up, and we're going to knock all of them down. Bill, Devin is fighting at his third weight for the first time. You know that Shakur Stevenson is already a 3-weight champion, right? Why do you guys keep acting like you're doing something that's never been done? It's fine, you're undisputed. So was Josh Taylor, Canelo, Usyk, Inoue, Crawford, Charlo. So why do you guys keep acting like you're doing something that's never been done? Bill Haney said by defeating Brian Gore-Tex, his son will have affirmed why this strategy is superior to any direction he could have received working for Hearn. Eddie, I heard you had $1 billion to invest in boxing. Now give us $1 billion reasons why you don't have a Devin Haney. Mic drop. Except that's not actually a mic drop, and Matchroom wasn't given $1 billion to invest in boxing. DAZN was, you bozo. Stupid Americans. Ever since DAZN debuted in America, these idiots act like Eddie Hearn owns DAZN. Aim those comments towards Blavatnik. Len Blavatnik, who's got more money than you and your son can count in a lifetime, you idiot. This entire rant must have sounded a lot better in Bill's head than it sounds in real time, because it's just a lot of bullshit at the end of the day. It's just a lot of bullshit. You're not the only successful act, or even the most successful act Matchroom has ever promoted. You're not the only undisputed champion. Are you nuts? You're not the only 3-weight world champion either. Oh, wait a minute. You're not 3-weight world champion yet. For all the shit you're talking, Bill, Devin better not go in there and lose, because you may be writing a check that his ass can't cash. These talkative boxing dads that love the camera time a little bit too much. Why do I side with Eddie Hearn? Because I said that Devin Haney was in a pickle. Devin Haney is a network and promotional free agent. He doesn't have anybody behind him to finance a little tune-up fight, a little gimme fight in between the bigger ones, to help him regain his confidence and build himself back up. On the heels of a scared performance like the Jose Ramirez fight, anybody would come to the same assumption as Eddie that you guys rushed to take on whatever fight Turkey wanted because you want the money. Because where else were you gonna get it? You're a free agent, remember? DHP ain't no real promotional outfit. You ain't got no broadcast partner. In many ways, you had to take this fight because it was this or nothing. Bo Diddley. After the Garcia fight fell through and Lopez walked away, remember, you're a free agent, so there's nobody to schedule a tune-up fight for you. It looks a lot like you had to take this fight, otherwise there was nothing. What were you gonna do? Now, two things can be true at the same time. If Devin wins this fight, it does count towards his legacy, but that doesn't mean that Eddie was wrong. Wrong about why you took it. You took it because it was one of the only options on the table that gets you a big bag.
Efficient, like, you wasn't doing enough landing.
Right.
That wasn't effective enough. Like, you're just staying away. Laura, that was effective boxing. He sat there, he slipped, touched, jabbed you there, stood, rolled, hit the back door when he could, exit. And it was times he put his man down because he was effective. That's effective boxing. Devin Haney, that thing is say, look, let me just make sure I don't get touched. I missed that shot. Now I got to run all the way over here real fast. Hold on, I'll be back. All right, let's reset. Like, that's not effective boxing. That's not boxing. And Brian Norman, he been working on cutting the ring off. I've been seeing a little bit of stuff he's been doing online. I don't think what Devin Haney bringing to the table is going to work with Brian Norman. Brian Norman, he got a little pop in both hands, and he's definitely coming to fight. The only thing I can say is he's a little slow.
Speed?
He's a little slow.
You see it coming.
He's a little slow. But yeah, you can see it coming. But I feel as though he still have enough in his arsenal to get this job done dealing with the fight he got in front of him.
For all of the Devin Haney defenders that thought it prudent to defend that stinker of a performance in Times Square, here you have Gary Antuannr-Russell, a sitting world champion, saying the exact same things that many of us said after that fight. That ain't boxing, that's not effective, that's freeze tag, you're running.
I wouldn't have been mad if they gave Jose the fight, that's how bad it was.
To then go from that to a Brian Norman fight, a bigger, younger man, with a bigger punch, fresher, not in decline, in his prime, or entering it, it accents the danger that Eddie Hearn was talking about. Now, granted, that Brian, at least according to Gary, is a bit slow, telegraphs his punches.
What's the remedy?
Combinations. Throw punches in bunches. Be busy, because if you try to do him with a single shot, looking for a window of opportunity to land a Hail Mary punch, that window won't open. But if you're throwing combinations, even if the first 2 punches don't land, or the first 3, the 4th one might, the 5th one.
Rashidi Ellis, when he fought Roman Villa, was noticeably faster and more athletic than Roman, but how did Roman break him down? Being busy, throwing combinations.
To where even if you're not as fast as Devin in terms of hand speed, pulling the trigger, Devin really only throws 1 and 2 punches at a time. If you're throwing 3 and 4, he may not even throw that one.
Oh, he might run.
Given the Turkey has had his fill of Tom and Jerry fights, one guy forcing the other to chase him, they may not reward you this time, Devin.
That was awful in Times Square.
The focus for Brian has to be cutting off the ring. If you can do that, you can get to Devin and let the punches go. Go hell for leather, because it's not like he's a knockout merchant. He's not gonna knock you out.
And don't forget the body. Against a moving target who wants to be on ice skates all night, you go to that body, it'll be harder for him to move those legs.
Do it.